The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Today is Tuesday. It is December 8th, 2020. Thanks so much for joining me. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, non-gender conforming individuals. Thank you to everyone who is participating as always. Thank you to the people in the chat room, everyone who makes this possible, to our producers, everyone who's on deck, feeding me all the information. You guys ever wonder why I know everything? It's because I have producers. No, I don't. I don't have producers in my ear. That'd be a little too, a little over the top, wouldn't it? For a stream, a YouTube stream, Facebook stream. Anyway, hello to everyone in the chat room. Good evening. Facebook, I see all of you. Dr. West was in the building this morning. Can I just start with that as a point of privilege? Dr. Cornel West was here on my network on this morning on Clickbaity Political Thirst Trap. He was here. Marcus Farrell was able to get him to come, and he's going to come back again. And it was a really dope conversation. And we're going to cut up the conversation. It was like an hour and a half. We're going to cut up the hour and a half. We're going to post all the individual clips. We'll get those out starting tomorrow so that you can participate. But I just want to, just as a point of privilege, play just a clip of Dr. West on the show today. Hang on. Let's see. Make sure I got the right screen up. You already know the clip I'm going to play. If you've been following me on any social media, you know the clip I'm going to play. I'm going to play the clip of Dr. West saying that he read my book. And man, that threw me for a loop. Let me tell you something. I'm going to be glowing. I'm going to be glowing for a long time to come. I'll tell you that much. Because Dr. Cornel West said that he read my book. You know what else I'm looking forward to on a whole different note? Well, not entirely different, but it's very relevant to this broadcast. I am actually very excited because someday next week, I'm almost certain it's going to be probably Monday, my entire show will be produced by my producer. And all I'm going to have to do, instead of moving around and touching and grabbing, and pressing this button over here and bringing up, all I'm going to have to do starting next week is just sit here and talk to you. Whew. Can somebody just, be grateful for upgrades? Can we just say upgrades? Because all this filibustering I'm doing is because I had to make sure I don't show you the wrong desktop. Because even though I tell you everything ain't your damn business. All right. Here's Dr. West on our show earlier. Earlier today. Let me tell you, so Dr. West read my book when it came out in 2012. Hot damn.
Commodified religion. And that's what you basically got in the last 50 years. When I read God is Not a Republican, I appreciate that, brother. That's about 8 years ago. I appreciated that book. Yeah, absolutely.
You read my book?
Lord, yeah. 2012 when it came out, man. That was serious.
You got to forgive me, Dr. West.
Complacent. We're not going to be complicitous. We got a conception of God that's not reducible to all of this right-wing commodified.
Now, Marcus,
we ain't never going to have to talk him down from that tree.
You never going to live that down.
Never coming back down.
No, let me tell you something. Dr. West read my book when it came out in 2012. Hot damn, I'm somebody. I feel like Jesse Jackson this morning. I am somebody. You are somebody. Look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, Ben Dixon got his book read by Dr. Cornel West. Okay, I just had to share that with you all. That was, I'm going to be laughing and smiling about that for some years to come because y'all know me. Still the same OG. Sorry, had a flashback there. You guys know me. I've been a huge supporter of Dr. West and his writings and his teachings, and to be able to just get him. Oh, let me fix this. Man, did y'all watch this morning? Oh, next week when the producer produces, and all I got to do. Y'all saw this morning as all my comments got all distorted and stuff because I'm trying to have a conversation. Anyway, because of all of the patrons and because of the Twitch subscribers and the super chatters, all of you who give super chats, because of you, we're able to now bring on producers who are going to do that job for me. But anyway, it was really dope to have Professor Cornel West. And thanks to Marcus Farrell, Clickbaity. He was the one who got him on there. Marcus is low key like one of the most influential people in American politics, just so you know. And so is Mundell, for that matter. Well, shit, so am I, for that matter. So Clickbaity political thirst trap. 3 very influential cats on the same team analyzing politics. All right, let's get down to business. Bad news for Donald Trump. The Supreme Court rejects a bid to overturn Biden's win in Pennsylvania. The High Court acted without comment or noted dissent in the matter. This is coming from the Politico. I want to read this first quote on your screen here. And they said the Supreme Court has rejected a bid by a Republican member of Congress and other GOP activists to overturn President-elect Joe Biden's win in Pennsylvania. It went on to say, in a one-sentence order on Tuesday afternoon, the justices turned down the emergency request from Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania and 2 other House candidates to decertify the results of last month's election in the Keystone State. Politico continued and said the following. The High Court acted without comment or noted dissent in the matter on the last day under federal law for states to submit their slates of presidential electors without being subject to potential contest in Congress. It went on to say, Kelly's suit, which was rejected by Pennsylvania courts, argued that legislation the state adopted last year allowing for no excuse mail-in voting violated the state constitution and that the results of last month's vote should therefore be invalidated. One more. Critics said that the request for the Supreme Court to take up the case was ill-founded because the justices do not typically step in to enforce state law provisions. They also faulted Kelly for waiting more than a year and until after the hard-fought election was complete to raise the legal challenge. And last but not least, from this report from Politico, they said granting an injunction would sow chaos and confusion across the nation while inflaming baseless concerns about electoral impropriety and ensnaring the judiciary in partisan strife. And I don't think anything else could be more accurate. I think that the absurdity that we talk about all of the time, I am comforted just ever so slightly by the fact that at least when they were given an opportunity, the courts, our judiciary, whether they were appointed by a conservative or not, did the right thing. This time, right? I'm leery because if this is a frailty in our political system, to eventually be exploited one day to the point where that conservative, the year 2000, does that ring a bell? The year 2000, the Supreme Court literally gave it to George W. Bush. So it's difficult to have any confidence in our institutions when they sway with the whim of human politics. Right? It's very difficult to have confidence in those institutions. So we got lucky this time. In other words, good, great. I'm happy about this. This is dope. We got lucky. What happens when we don't get lucky the next time? And what I'm afraid of in this country is that we are at a stage where no, it's not just in this country. No, it is actually, I would argue it's humanity. I will argue it's humanity, that we would see a problem, know that it's inevitable, but because we don't really believe that it's going to happen in our lifetime, we don't actually do anything about it, because of course we realize this democracy is so fragile that it can be exploited by somebody like Donald Trump if he was just a little bit more efficient, if he wasn't such a moron. Are you telling me we're going to be okay and just leave this big gaping hole in our democracy unsealed because... Why? Because we don't expect any more bad actors? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, I think one of the ways that we got Donald Trump was that Democrats really did not believe that America would go somewhere so asinine. No, really. I think Democrats began to pour this obscene amount of power into the executive branch, into the presidency, the office of the presidency, because they really expected there to be Obama. And then, because of the folly of George W. Bush, they really believed that because George W. Bush was so destructive that we would have Democrats in perpetuity. So they felt okay enshrining into the power of the presidency so much power. And this is not, don't get me wrong. I don't want to get the proper, I want to keep it in proper context. There's two different things. The office of the presidency was too powerful to begin with, right? And the Constitution most certainly is vulnerable to people who just don't give a damn about all of the agreements that are not enshrined to the Constitution. I'm saying more than, it's the same thing I've always said, but I don't know if I've said it that clearly. The Constitution is vulnerable to all the components that it depends on that are not enshrined in it. If America depends on a gentlemanly agreement to have a peaceful transfer of power just because we're all gentlemen and we all are enlightened and, then of course, absolutely, it is going to come a point inevitably at some point where that is going to be challenged. And we are at that point. It's just that we're at that point with a moron like Donald Trump. So what I'm saying is, are we going to continue to allow our system to lay vulnerable to the whims of someone who would just ignore the Constitution for the sake of maintaining his own political power? That's the question. In other words, when are we going to wake up and actually do something about it? All right. Where do we want to go next? So many stories to cover. That last one worked out actually pretty decently. I'm actually really good at this, folks. I was pulling in slides, those quotes. I was pulling them in as I was reading. I'm like reading, ending one sentence, grabbing a slide, and it's just really, really dope what I'm doing behind this camera. What's up, chat room? Y'all hit the like and share and subscribe button. I'm just being a moron for a few seconds before I transition to the next one. Peace is a verb. Hello to you. Allison, inaction is never your friend. I love that. Shout out to you on Facebook. Everyone on Twitch. I don't see a whole lot of comments from Twitch. Did we not have Twitch tonight? Shout out, say something from Twitch. There's Periscope. Twitter's in the house. Good to see everybody. Oh, there's Twitch. Hello, Twitch. Twitch is in the house. Good to see everyone. All right. Let's move on to, you know what? Let's keep going. All right. Let's go to the story out of whatever the hell this is. Let's pull it on the screen. Oh, we just did. On Monday, my producer is going to be running all of this technology. And all I have to do is sit here and talk to you. I'm actually really, really looking forward to that because I have been doing this of producing on the fly with commentary, taking phone calls and stuff. I've been doing this for a little while. And I used to love to brag about the fact that I could do all of these things at the same time and provide some amazing commentary. But you know what? I'm pretty much done with that stage, right? So here's to Monday.
It's wrong for Hudson County to make money from such an inhumane practice. This is blood money.
This is cruel, this is evil, and history will remember you as monsters if you continue to do business with the department that has ripped children from their mothers with no plan to reunite them, sexually assaulted minors, surgically sterilized women, and allowed many innocents to die.
How can you, our elected officials, vote in favor of this contract that will place more people into the horrors of our immigration system and into our inhumane deportation machine? Are you not people of conscience?
Any with ICE is going to end up putting us in an unethical and immoral place. At the end of the day, the county, and by extension, every person who lives in it, is profiting off of the detention and warehousing of human beings.
I wanted to play that as much of that as I did because this is a story that we wanted to bring some attention to. Some significant attention to. And I want to read this to you. This was from, in a meeting, this is from NewJersey.com. In a meeting that went well over 10 hours, the Hudson County freeholders voted Tuesday night to approve a new 10-year jail contract to ICE by a 6-3 vote. Now, the video that you just got through seeing is the background of this story. And at the beginning of the video, you would remember some of the testimonies about what ICE has done and what ICE actually is. And what we know it has always been under both under the administrations, right, since it was inception, all the way to what it has become bastardized even more so underneath the Trump administration. And so for this relationship to even be considered, let alone entered into a contract with, is absurd on its face. But I want to continue reading. In voting to approve the contract, freeholder Walker likened the living conditions for the detainees to a college dorm. He noted that the people in the other part of the jail, Americans that look like him, are locked inside their cells 23 of 24 hours of the day. They went on to say the following. Roughly 100 speakers addressed the board, many of them attorneys and immigration advocates, but not one spoke in favor of the contract. Continuing on, they said Hudson County has housed immigrant detainees at the county jail since the mid-1990s. The current agreement, which is set to expire at the end of the year, pays the county $120 per detainee per day. Finally, it says Phil Cohen and Emily Jabur, both members of the Hoboken City Council, also came out against the contract. Support for ICE by a contract such as this one harms our community and undermines our values. I challenge the notion that this contract is needed for the purposes of the county budget. This really is just indicative of the bastardization. And I'm sorry, I don't know. That's the second time I've used that one tonight. So let's take that one out. It is the perfect example of when you reward the worst part of humanity, greed, and it just blows me away that they can consider this contract with an organization that at this present moment is committing acts of violence against human beings. That is forced hysterectomies. I'm curious if how much we have to describe or how much actually has to happen before people realize what we're dealing with ICE. And I fear that people will begin to approve of ICE under the Biden administration because now it is an arm of a Democratic administration. You understand what I'm saying? I'm concerned about that. Because what we know ICE to be right now, they're not going to change overnight. You think they're going to change just because they get a more diverse leader? It's a possibility, but not a guarantee. You think the entire culture of ICE is going to change because Joe Biden appoints somebody who is, I don't know, whatever. No, that culture is deeply rooted. They're not going to all of a sudden just be good because they're underneath the Democrats. They were a problem before Donald Trump. And we have to be honest with ourselves. If we can't accept the fact that now your party, our party, whatever, the people who oppose Donald Trump, you now own this government. You now own this government. I don't know if you guys heard that. I don't know who the hell calling me in the middle of my gun. Y'all know I'm on air. Jesus. This is an important story. You know who ICE is. You know what they are. You see it and you ignore it. And the thing is of course I expect this from Republicans or conservative leaning or people who are pro criminal justice and all the people who are really big on cracking down on immigration. And I expect that from this group of people. I'm just curious how all of us who can clearly see the problem that ICE is today because it's underneath Donald Trump, how much we will continue to see ICE to be a problem. Now, I know not you in my audience, and I know you listen to me, and you listen to you listen to yourself, I know not you. I'm just saying how many people will, though. How many Democrats will begin making excuses for ICE because it's underneath the Democratic Party control. More importantly, this contract is it's disgusting, especially because it is rewarding the behavior. What ICE is doing is not a requirement for democracy. What ICE is, what America does. Can I get on my soapbox for a second? Just for a second. What America does on the international stage, my friends, is not required for democracy. What America does with its imperialism is not required for security and safety. Now, I'm not going to sit here and be foolish enough to tell you that I believe that we could get rid of all war. No. But I can tell you that the kind of money that we waste on our military spending in this country is so unnecessary, far beyond anything that is required to maintain an empire. It is not about maintaining America's strength. It's about maintaining the quarterly profit margins to the people who build the weapons that provide America's strength. We could probably stop spending on our military right now and still have about a 30-year advantage over the rest of the world. What America is doing across the globe is not necessary for democracy, just like what ICE is doing here domestically is not necessary for democracy. These are not inevitable outcomes of organizing society. These are inevitable outcomes of people who lack empathy, who are sociopaths, who are more than happy to use their authority to harm other people. And I'm telling you, this country is run by an entire lot of them. The entire lot of them. There may scarcely be 5, maybe 10 if we're lucky. Politicians in Washington, D.C. who actually have the capacity to empathize with the hurt that is being felt around this country. Otherwise, they would do something. They would do something about all these people who are losing their houses, losing their apartments, can't feed their kids. You can't tell me that you cannot tell me that we are led by people who are anything but sociopaths when they cannot bring themselves to do something to help people in a goddamn pandemic. The entire lot of them, sociopaths. How the hell can you look at I don't care what the politics of it are. I don't care. How the hell can you look at your entire country suffering the way it is, and you imbecilic cretins can't come together and pass a bill to bail out your own countrymen? For the love of God, you won't even do it to bail out your own quarterly profit margins, you idiots. If you put money in our hands, we're going to spend it. So, but nope. We are led by people who simply just cannot put themselves in the shoes of a person on the other side of the country who lost their job because of COVID-19. They got small children, so they're trying to provide and trying not to get sick. And and that's, if they got a place to stay, they're actually doing good, because put yourselves in the shoes of the people, of the dad who is having to comfort his children right now in the back seat of their car because they don't have a place to live. See, we're led by people who can't extend a moment of empathy beyond their own individual selfish greed. They cannot put themselves in the place of people who are having to stay at homeless shelters in a pandemic because they lost everything. And we're led by people who can't even come together. So I don't even remember how I got on this. But God damn it, if you know it's true, you know what I'm saying is true. Out of all the traits that we could celebrate in society, we're led by people who have the absolute worst trait, the inability to empathize with other people. Sociopaths. Because if they actually empathized, there's no way in hell I would stop until people in this country had everything that they needed to survive this pandemic. But I mean, we've already lost 250,000. I mean, shit. What's another 250,000 to people who have enough money to avoid all of it? My voice is cracking because the wrong camera comes up every now and then, and I'm like, I don't want y'all to see what it really looks like. You can't see behind the camera. You got to look in the good camera. Oh man, you got to look at the good camera, not the started from the bottom. Now we here. You know what I mean? I don't want you looking at that one. Started from the bottom. Now the whole. You know what I mean? No, we stay looking at the good camera. Let's get ready to thank everybody who makes this show possible. Our Twitch subscribers, our patrons, just all of you. And we're going to, I need to talk to YouTube. I'm going to have to reach out to YouTube because there's got to be a way for them to give me the API of all of the people who give super chats. Like have an API that will report to me all the people who send super chats so that I can put you inside of our patron family, right? So that you can get all those benefits. It's an API. There should be an API for everything. But I digress. We're going to get ready for the patron party. Shout out y'all while in the chat room. Yeah. So with that said, let's have a patron party. Oh yeah.
Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show and get twice the content and unfiltered interviews without any of the commercial interruptions.
And here we go. At this point in every single episode, I'd like to take a minute to thank the people who make this show possible, our patrons. Very special welcome to Jennifer M. Thank you for becoming a patron. Elizabeth G. Thank you for becoming a patron. Mycelius W. Thank you for becoming a patron. And Happy Hacker. Thank you for becoming a patron. Oh, wait a minute. On to Twitch. Thank you, TX2 Trill, for becoming a subscriber on Twitch. Hack1984, Camarad V Taco for gifting a sub. And Alpacas 2020, thank you for gifting a sub. You too can become a part of this prestigious and prodigious patron family by going to patreon.com/The BPD Show, where you get twice the content, uncut, unfiltered interviews, none of the commercial interruptions, and you give me the ability to speak power into the powerless, whether the powerful like it or not. Did you hear what I said, folks?
Welcome back to the Benjamin Dixon Show.
Right.
Visit us online at thebenjamindixonshow.com.
All right. I see the acorns. That's that Bob. All right, everybody. Let me read some questions from patrons and from Twitch subscribers. Here, the first question from Androgyny Dragon Squirrel said, I have been trying to study using liberationschool.org. Do you have any left ideology sources to recommend, sir? Ooh. Oh. I don't have a single source for my leftist leanings. Can I just be so? It's not coy. I'm not being coy when I say this, but I really mean it, even though it's going to be corny as hell. It's about to be corny. Prepare yourself. My biggest source for my leftism is my heart. And I try to say it as tough as I could, so it didn't sound overly mushy. But my empathy, honestly, is my biggest source for leftism. Then it's probably the Bible, right? It was I read that like 4 times, before I kind of went my own way. Then my family is also, source of my leftism. Like, we're some pretty radical, and I've read books along the way, right? But I can't really say any of the books are the source of my radicalism. I would say they just have been there to help clarify things that I was trying to figure out. And it's really cool because you have these ideas about the world and you think they're original, and then you read a book and realize, oh, they thought about this 200 years ago. So, but it's a wonderful question. But the only, when you say sources, I don't really have any, just some whatever book. I have an internal compass that really is my guide on that. Peter P says, does aggressively centrist mean conservative economically and liberally socially? I think people who make this route tend not to stand for anything except for who's taxing me less. Peter P. Great. I don't think I have anything to say about that, except for the idea, that's the Matthew McConaughey situation where he mentioned that he's aggressively centrist. I don't know if I want to tell this about myself. Nah, some things you keep. I just want you guys to know that despite the fact that it seems like I tell you everything, I keep the best stuff. Let's move on. Let's go to questions from Twitch subscribers. Comrade V Taco, Smiley was my introduction to Brother Cornel West via The Rich and the Rest of Us. I will forever love them. Tavis Smiley. Yeah, his co-host. Andy from, I believe that's who you're talking about. Andy from Ohio said, have you heard that they're trading water on the stock markets now? I will burn the entirety of like Street Fighter video game. I gotta pull myself out of that, like Hadouken. I'm gonna burn it like that, because god damn it, yes, I did hear that foolishness. And it's like, y'all won't just let me be. Don't make me have to be the revolutionary version of me, because everybody got one. This ain't to hype me up. This to say that everyone got one and y'all are dancing right on that magic nerve. I'm going to trade water on the stock exchange. I wish you would. But they're going to try it. And we're going to have to find out the appropriate response, because we're still in a system where I can't run up on folks like I would like to. So we got to respect law and order. So we're going to have to organize and respond to this in an organized fashion. So there you go. I don't know why I am the way I am, folks. Andy from Ohio also said, elevated thought. I would love to see Pelosi in a situation where she has to switch places with someone who has that experience you just described. She would fail so effing hard. Whenever I get on my, I'm getting a little bit further and further and further away from my poverty experience. And, but it was recent enough for me to have the taste of the fear of it. Forget the taste, the fear of it. Like, I ain't going back. I ain't going back. You can't make me go back to living paycheck to paycheck. You can't do it. That's how close I am to it. Guys, put that one back up, because I was going to put that question back in there for me, because I was going to I had that tangent, and the way I was going to come back from the tangent was going to be to look at that question. Now I'm lost. Oh, Nancy Pelosi, she would fail so hard. Okay. Thank you, guys. See, normally I don't have to do that out loud. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm not going back. That said, in my poverty journey, though, it is so real for me, and so it's traumatic. Let me just say that. And I don't know if we understand what we mean when we say traumatic. Like, I need you to identify for you right now what could be traumatic for you. Don't trigger yourself, but just understand that emotion. That's what poverty does, right? I just needed you to be able to match when I say poverty is traumatic, I don't want you to think of it in the sense of an Americanized overuse of words, like when you overuse words, like literally, like, no, you don't mean literally. Well, I actually do mean traumatic. I mean traumatic. Poverty is traumatic. And people learn to survive. Growing up in poverty, you learn to survive. You know what's even harder, though? Being a parent in poverty. You talk about surviving? There's nobody in the world who can pull some stuff together like parents who are trying to make sure that their kids don't know that they're poor. Nobody. If you want to get the most untapped, brilliant mind in this country, this isn't to venerate poverty. Don't you guys start going on poverty tours and say, I'm going to be impoverished for about a year so that I can get the experience of no, get the hell out of here. Unless you're going to put money in the hands of poor people and let them trade places. Now, if you're going to trade places, then fine, let's do it. Right? Let's do it. Shit. You come down here and try, I want to get that experience. Yeah, there's a level of greatness. There's a level of greatness and intensity and brilliance that is required by the sheer fact that you are impoverished that other people do not have. It is not a privilege. It is a burden. And that's why I say I don't want people like to stay, I want to go get on this poverty tour so that I can get no, don't. Don't mock it, because it's traumatizing to people who live in it for real, especially those people who live in it with children. Which brings me back full circle with the fact that how can these people in Washington, D.C. not put themselves in the shoes of all the people in this country that are hurting? How do you not do that? Well, the only way you can actually not do that is if you have a physical inability to do that. Anyway, didn't mean to get on that soapbox. Let's read these super chats. Or did we even get any super chats tonight? Super chats have been very, but it's cool. It's cool. You guys just keep on. Yep. Zip, zitch. No, they are. They're super chats. Oh, no, there's a lot. Oh, we had, okay. You know what? And I will do that. For last night, you missed them. From tonight, here, give me for those folks. Wait, is this up to, all right, go. So let's do something real quick, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
The Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.thebenjamindixonshow.com to register for our blog and join the Progressive Army.
Oh, there we go again. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Let's get this bus out of here. All right. Okay, great. So let me read some super chats from. I've got super chats in here, but I'm not even going to flex like that. These super chats are old super chats because we didn't get any new super chats tonight. Oh, wait a minute. We finally got one. I had to cut the camera off and text my producers and say, hey, you guys haven't updated the super chat page. And they were like, because there are no super chats, Ben. Oh, man. Oh, this is great. Bye. No, I'm joking. All right. That is the end of the stream, though. But do me a favor, Twitch, tell my producer where we're going. Thank you, Nick. Nick is out here saving the day. And if anybody who's done super chats, we are going to get you a backstage pass to the next patron party, which, by the way, I'm kind of feeling like doing one pretty soon. So we made this Ask Me Anything that's coming up. So on the first Friday of every month, we have a patron party. On the third Friday of every month, we have an Ask Me Anything, and it's always dope and it's always great. And you know what? And I had to think about something. It is one channel. Maybe we just need to grow the channel more because you guys dropped so many super chats this morning. And we're going to read them all tomorrow morning on Clickbait because I want to make sure that the people who gave these super chats get to hear their super chats. So that's why I'm not going to read all of these that we got from Dr. Cornell West this morning. That said, if you guys have already done the thing. Oh, look at that. Listen, it's only been 48 minutes, but I would declare that I've given you about a lifetime's worth of good shit in one night. So to that end, I will see you guys next time. Bye.